Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the Hoflik of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua. The Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah, not Hashem, not Yahweh, Haveh, Vaveh. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten Son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos. It's Yahweh Shai. So got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles, elder, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and the elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim, believing this truth and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shed light to the whole elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening learning, you few sisters who are listening learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando, Camp Prophet of Doom, coming at you on a lesson in true facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord willing. This be edifying. This is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news report, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to this video. This is for educational purposes only. Lord willing, it be edifying.
Welcome to the channel, and welcome back if you're returning. Today, we're diving into a controversial but timely subject, polygamy, the last hope for single mothers, boss chicks, and independent women. For years, many women proudly embraced independence, rejected traditional marriage, and even declared they didn't need a man. But now, with skyrocketing rents, cuts to government assistance, and the rising cost of living, many are finding themselves cornered by harsh realities. Some argue that polygamy, or shared marriages, might be the only practical solution for women struggling alone, especially single mothers and boss chicks, who once thought independence would guarantee security. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but with so many women unable to secure stable husbands or maintain a household on their own, polygamy is being whispered about as a last resort option for survival. Is this a true solution, or just another sign of how far modern womanhood has fallen? Stick around because we're going to break this down. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yes, hit that thanks button if you'd like to support the channel. Polygamy, the last hope for single mothers in America. Across America, the number of single mothers continues to climb, with millions of women raising children without stable financial or emotional support from a partner. For decades, society has debated solutions: government welfare, community programs, child support enforcement, but many families are still falling through the cracks. Now, a controversial idea is resurfacing: polygamy as a potential safety net for single mothers. The crisis of single motherhood. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that nearly 1 in 4 children lives in a single-parent household, the overwhelming majority with their mothers. These women often carry the full weight of parenting while juggling low-paying jobs, rising housing costs, and a lack of affordable childcare. The results are grim: higher poverty rates, generational instability, and emotional burnout. Why polygamy enters the conversation. Traditionally, American society has promoted monogamy as the foundation of family. But advocates of plural marriage argue that polygamy could redistribute responsibilities in a way that benefits struggling mothers. In a household with multiple wives, burdens like childcare, cooking, and emotional support could be shared. With a husband or financial provider at the center, the economic load is spread wider, creating a built-in support network that many single mothers lack. A radical but practical solution. Imagine a single mother of two joining a polygamous household. Instead of bearing the struggle alone, she gains co-wives who can help raise her children. A shared income pool that reduces rent and utility costs, and emotional companionship in a broader family unit. Critics may call it regressive, but for women drowning under the weight of survival, it could be a lifeline. The cultural pushback. Of course, polygamy remains illegal in all 50 states, and mainstream America still views it through a lens of taboo, often tied to religious extremism or exploitation. Feminist critics argue it could reinforce patriarchal structures, reducing women to dependence. Yet, paradoxically, many independent women are now acknowledging that the do-it-all-alone model is unsustainable. For decades, women were sold the dream of independence, the idea that they didn't need men, that they could have it all by focusing on careers, self-empowerment, and personal freedom. The boss chick era was fueled by slogans of self-sufficiency and the belief that government programs, high-paying jobs, and personal ambition would be enough to build a fulfilling life. But reality is crashing in. Rents are at all-time highs, food and childcare costs are unbearable, and many single women, particularly single mothers, are realizing that independence without stability is nothing more than a fragile illusion. This harsh financial landscape is forcing conversations once considered taboo. One of the most provocative among them is the growing talk about polygamy as a potential solution. In communities where women far outnumber available, marriage-minded men, some argue that sharing a stable husband could provide more security than being completely on their own. It's a concept often criticized, yet the very fact that it's gaining traction highlights just how desperate circumstances have become. From a historical perspective, polygamy has existed in cultures worldwide as a practical arrangement. In societies where resources were scarce or where male leadership was considered essential for household stability, multiple women would band together under one husband. While modern Western society rejects this arrangement as outdated, economic pressures are pushing some women to reconsider whether polygamy might provide structure, stability, and shared resources that they simply cannot secure alone. For single mothers especially, the appeal is clear. Raising children alone is one of the most difficult paths, and many women who once glorified single motherhood are now overwhelmed with bills, work-life imbalance, and emotional exhaustion. In such a setup, polygamy could provide children with male guidance, women with relief from financial burdens, and families with a stronger collective support system. To some, this looks far better than the endless cycle of struggling in poverty, living on government aid, or bouncing between unstable relationships. For boss chicks and so-called independent women, polygamy presents a different kind of reality check. Many spent their 20s and 30s chasing careers, delaying marriage, and rejecting traditional roles. Now, as they face aging, declining dating options, and economic instability, their independence feels less like freedom and more like loneliness. Polygamy in this context isn't necessarily about romance or love, but about survival, securing a piece of stability, even if it means sharing it. But the rise of these conversations also reveals the depth of cultural and social breakdown. Polygamy being seen as a last hope underscores how much has been lost in the modern family structure. Instead of prioritizing stable marriages early in life, many women were taught to prioritize careers, hyper-independence, and materialism. The result has been a generation of women who now find themselves unpartnered, overwhelmed, and searching for alternatives that would have seemed unimaginable just a few decades ago. Critics of this idea argue that polygamy is not a solution, but another symptom of a broken system. Instead of rebuilding strong families with one man and one woman committed to raising children together, polygamy spreads already limited male commitment thinner. It could create jealousy, resentment, and more dysfunction than stability. However, others point out that polygamy already exists informally through side relationships, sharing men, and unspoken arrangements. The only difference is that it's not structured or openly acknowledged. What this debate really reveals is the collapse of the independent woman narrative. Women who once proclaimed they didn't need a man now openly admit that life is too heavy to carry alone. The government is no longer a reliable husband, cutting subsidies, reducing welfare benefits, and shrinking housing assistance. Meanwhile, men are increasingly refusing to step in and rescue women who dismissed them in the past. That leaves women caught between a rock and a hard place, searching for solutions in unconventional arrangements. In the end, whether polygamy rises as a legitimate practice or not, the fact that it is even being discussed tells us everything we need to know about the state of modern womanhood. Independence without partnership has proven to be unsustainable. And while some women may embrace polygamy as a lifeline, others will see it as a warning, a call to re-examine the choices and cultural shifts that led here. A future debate. As housing, healthcare, and childcare costs continue to rise, unconventional family structures may gain traction. Polygamy may resurface as a serious conversation in the coming decades, especially for single mothers searching for stability. For many women, polygamy is not about romance or tradition. It is about survival. And in a nation where the safety net is shrinking, survival may outweigh stigma. Conclusion. The rise of polygamy discussions among single mothers and boss chicks is not about love, empowerment, or freedom. It is about survival. It reflects a deeper truth that independence sold as liberation has for many turned into isolation, instability, and despair. The question is no longer whether women can do it all alone, but whether they can afford to continue trying. And if polygamy looks like a last hope, it may be time to admit that the entire foundation of modern womanhood was built on shaky ground. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave a like and a comment. And if it is your first time on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share the video. Until next time.
All right, so this is the correct mindset of a Hebrew Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, or Haitian woman or women. This is the correct mindset. See how she made the point about this ain't a man having multiple women ain't about sex. It's about having stability, not breaking your back for this system. And even though we ain't gonna have it on this side, this is how it's gonna be in the kingdom. But I saw this and I just wanted to make some points. So in as a matter of fact, let's go to this first. Proverbs 14:1. It reads,